All right, we're going to do a recap for the week of October 24th to October 28th, 2022, looking at the price action on the NASDAQ futures market using AbleTrend guidance charts. This is my 1, 2, 3 minute chart. Sometimes I have some other charts up, but for the sake of the video, we'll just use this chart. So here we are, market open on Monday. Some people like to jump in at market open. Technically, it's a valid trade. I don't like to do that. As the week goes on, you'll see it worked out one day, which was today, Friday. Most of the other times, it likes to pull back to the resistance or support levels. So I stay out of those. I wait 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, to see what the market presents. So for me, first trade of the day would have come in right here at 7:01, short at 3:11, with a stop up here above the bar around 3:39, and got out with a 2 neutral bar exit at 277. I also take half off at 10 points, so that happened pretty quickly. And then the second half I take off at the 2 neutral bar exit, or if it breaks through a resistance level. So not bad for the first trade of the day. From there, we got some neutral action. We did have full confirmation to the upside. We were long here at 362. This thing kind of just bounced around, and actually, if you adjusted your stops to the second level of support, you would not have been stopped out. But if you see a sell signal print, that's technically an exit signal. So it'll be out at 349 there. So that's a losing trade. Next trade came here late in the morning from me, closing in on 9 a.m. Pacific time. This has at 8:52, long at 407 with a stop down here. Pretty large stop, kind of a impulse move. Sometimes I skip those, sometimes I don't. Just kind of how the day is going. But long here at 407, kind of rode this up a little bit, got 10 points, and then the second half was out at 427. So that was Monday, 10:24. Moving on to Tuesday. Alrighty, so here we are, triple confirmation at market open. As I said previously, I don't like to take those trades. You can take those. This one technically would have worked out if you put your stop beneath the entry bar, because it tested the support levels, the 1 and the 2 minute support levels, but didn't get to that level. Actually, I take that back. You've been stopped out right here because you adjusted your stop to this support level. So there you go, again, where you get stopped out on that initial entry bar. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it only worked out one time this week. So I don't take those. First trade of my day came right here when we got a sweet spot with a blue bar printing after we tested the 1 minute. We actually also tested the 2 minute, and then we got a blue oscillator confirming that. And so we're long here with that confluence at 5:59. I had my stop down here at 5:39. I typically like about a 20-point stop or so. I don't like to put my stop too close on a sweet spot. Technically, you're supposed to put it at the second level of support. So we could have done that as well. That would have been a little over a 30-point stop. So long at 5:59, and rode this up nicely. Got some two neutral bars in this area, and then would have been stopped at 6:29. So got our 10 points. Second half went to 6:29. Interestingly, in real time, this was not a buy signal. The resistance level stayed up here, but when I refresh my charts and going back a couple days, sometimes signals kind of switch up just a little bit, not too much. This one showed that it was a buy signal, but I did not take that because in real time it did not show as a buy signal. Sometimes when the data reloads, different signals differ just slightly. Next signal came in right here at 6:39, would have been stopped out at 6:24. On a shorter bar like this, I like to have at least a 15-point stop to let it breathe a little bit, and that was at 6:24. and it still got nicked right here when we came down and broke through the support a little bit. Didn't continue, bounced off, and so we'd be back long here with a sweet spot at 643. Got that confluence again. Stop, could have been underneath this one, the entry bar, but I like to give it a little bit more room. Probably this one looks like it maybe would have been more of like a 15-point stop is what I would have used down here at 28. Let that thing ride, got the 10 points pretty quickly. This thing rode for almost an hour, and then we would have been out right here on a 2 neutral bar exit. This one came close, but I do 3 points beneath, so it just stayed above that. So we would have been out up here at 687. So long at 643, out at 11,687. And that was it for Tuesday. Moving along, trying to not make these videos too long. Get over to Wednesday. Wednesday was kind of as you can see, I zoom out all over day. Crazy up trend and then downtrend later in the morning. So again, could get short at market entry, but you would have been stopped out. First technical signal came in this area, long at 516. Could go here, but I don't like to get in on a long impulse move like that, especially when we already have the buy signal printing. We're just looking for 3-minute confirmation. You get this impulse move. I don't love that. As you can see, it pulled back a little bit. Sometimes I'll enter on that pullback, or I'll wait for full confirmation for long here at 516. Stop beneath that entry bar, the 3-minute bar. That technically would have been stopped out at 493. Pretty sizable loss. And then we got some crazy volatility here. Some news came out at 7 a.m. Stayed out of this mess for a little bit, but did finally get a retest of the support level. Bounced off with a confluence with the oscillator, long at 577. Stopped down here, rode that up to this area where we had 2 neutral bars, and 3 points beneath that would have had us out at 622. Next trade here, around 8 a.m. Pacific Coast time, long at 649. I like to do about a 15-point stop on these shorter bars, so I technically would have been stopped out of that. It went against you about 20 points, so if you had like a 25-point stop, 30-point stop, you would have been safe. But for me personally, I was stopped out of that one. And then, as I mentioned, a pretty good sell-off in the 9 a.m. hour Pacific Coast time. So moving along to Thursday. Missed an opportunity on Thursday. That's just the way it goes. So my first entry came right here. Stayed out of this mess. Impulse move right at market open. And then got short here on the confirmation of the 3-minute. And so that was at 390. And I had my stop a couple points above the 3-minute entry bar at 410. And I just got ticked out. I mean, that thing got to a high of 412. And so I got ticked out right there. Extremely frustrating, especially when you see a sell-off like this. So that really stunk. I did get my 10 points, and so it wasn't as bad as taking a full loss, half off at 10, and then a 20-point loss on the second half. So overall, just a 10-point loss. But something I'm looking at is when you see, especially with increased volatility, kind of a pullback, neutral bars, and then you see this a quick move either to the upside or the downside, and then the confirmation with the oscillator. This could be a good entry right here. Short at 361. Have your stop up here around 380 or so, so 19-point stop. I also like how we broke beneath this kind of accumulation area, this kind of, somewhat of a support area that price was not going beneath. I like how we broke beneath that. Obviously, hindsight makes it very clear, but that could be a good entry if you get ticked out of something like that. This thing was a crazy sell-off in about 5 minutes. Almost ran from that entry down almost 100 points. So that was crazy. I didn't get in here at all. Technically, could have gone long here. I stayed out of that. I didn't like how far away from the support levels we were. As you can see, it didn't really pan out anyways. So my next trading came in around this area, around 8:15. I was short at 327 with a stop a couple points above the entry bar at 347. Again, got my 10 points, but then was stopped out on my second half for a total of 10-point loss. Again, short here, got my 10 points at 330. Had my stop loss 20 points above at 350 and eventually got stopped out of that one as well. Good thing that comes with taking half off at 10 points. Ron kind of referred to it the other day, Ron from AbleTrend, as just kind of taking paper cuts rather than full losses. Kind of just take a paper cut, and then look for that big move. So here, if I just traded my full size, I would have taken a full 20-point loss, But instead, just taking 10-point loss because I got 10 off, locked in 10 points, and then took a 20-point loss on the second half. So that kind of comes out to a net of a 10-point loss. It's a good way to look at it. Kind of helps manage your risk appropriately. So as I was referencing earlier, sometimes when I refresh my charts, the data kind of comes in differently and shows different signals than were occurring in real time. So this bar right here was a sell signal in real time. And so I was short here at 326, got my 10 points pretty quickly, and then I was actually out for a two neutral bar exit around 308 over right here. It finally took me out. So that's kind of interesting how that showed differently. But yeah, this in real time was a sell signal, and so I was short there. So a so-so day. I think it was about a break-even day, but just really disappointing. I think it was a small loss actually. Disappointing that I missed this massive sell-off just by a couple ticks. And that's just the way it is sometimes. You just gotta, it is what it is. Keep trading the charts. So here's the one time this week when if you would have jumped in at market open, it would have gone in your favor. As you can see, we just ripped to the upside. I, of course, don't take those, and so I missed out on this, but we did kind of slowly move to the upside all day, so there was other opportunities. I jumped in on this sweet spot right here. We had tested the 1 minute, got blue bars, got confluence with the oscillator. So I was long at 327. I got my 10 points, but then I was stopped out at 315. It was where I had my stop loss. So it netted out to just a small loss, almost a break even, kind of a small loss. I decided to not take this move right here. This was another sweet spot, but some news came out at 7 a.m. and I just stayed out of that. So my next entry came right here when we came down, tested the 3-minute support level, got a 1 minute buy, and then confirmed with a 2-minute buy signal as well. So once that 2-minute buy signal started to show itself, I was long at 341, got my 10 points off pretty quickly, and then I was out with the second half at 391. So that was the trading for this week. Not bad, and looking forward to next week.